Sorry, man. It's been a long day.
I bet. I bet. Nah, you're good to go. I'm about to. Gotta see. Can I mute it real quick? All right, I'm gonna mute all. All right, cool. So everyone's muted. Good, 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 good. All right. So, Rachel's on now. All right. So today, you all, we're going to talk about stress, stress, stress. Stress is a beast. And I bet everybody's going to experience some type of stress in their life. So I'm going to talk about facts. Then we're going to talk about how to fight. All right. Because I'm going to give you some facts about stress because I like for people to understand the seriousness of stress and just some facts that you might not have known about stress, that stress is a real thing. And so I'm gonna hit on that first to let you know, like, man, stress got to be dealt with, it's real. Then I'm gonna teach you a little bit how to fight it. And we're gonna, if someone have a scenario situation, we can try to plug into my ways of my solutions I've given you. So I'm not going to give you like these are 10 coping mechanisms to stress. I'm gonna just give you like, okay, this is how you fight stress right here. Because somebody can say go for a walk, but then somebody hate walks. So it's like so many, it's like 1,000,005 coping mechanism a person can use for stress, but we want to use healthy ways and to each his own. But I'm gonna tell you how to fight it though, without giving you like a lot of coping mechanisms. I'm gonna just tell you how to fight it. So facts. Let's talk facts. So we all experience some degree of stress in our lives. It could be relational stress, like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, co-workers, or having lack of close personal friends. People get stressed out about that. Mental, like I can't figure out how to solve this issue, but I know I don't want it in my life. Emotional, so emotional stress would be like feelings about or towards something. Like somebody could like feel a certain way about let's say like the presidency or something like that, so they can feel stressed about that. Physical stress can be like injuries, eating, um, working hard, exercising, just putting stress on your body. Environmental stress can be things like stress at job, stress at school, stress at home, and existential stress, which is like the purpose of life stress or the purpose of my existence, or do I believe in God or not type of stress, because people get stressed out about that. So those are the six compartments of stress. It's relational, mental, physical, emotional, environmental, and existential. And those are also the six compartments of health. So, right there and then, you see how stress affects every area of your life. It can have an effect on it. So, sometimes when it comes to nutrition coaching, I'm more so dealing with the stress level of a person than I'm actually dealing with nutrition. Because if you're stressed out, look, you don't care nothing about no protein and no carb. You're like, look, get me the cookie, give me the cake, give me the bucket of ice cream. You ain't worried about protein and carbs and things like that. You're stressed out. So I like to deal with people stress as well. I had a great conversation with a young lady last week. We was supposed to be talking about food, but it was just literally getting stress out there, and that made her feel 10 times better. It wasn't about us talking about what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. It was like, man, I got too much stress in my life to even deal with none of that stuff. So we had a great talk, and she's good to go. So what's the definition of stress? Definition of stress is going to be mental or emotional strain and tension. Now it can be physical too, but for this sake, we're talking about the stress on our mind. So it's mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. So it's mental or emotional strain and tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. So that is where stress comes from. So stress attacks your mind, and it attacks us through mental and emotional strain and tension that comes up. And I'm going to break down what it means by adverse and demanding circumstance. I'm going to break that down a little later when it comes time for us to fight it. So, and this is what we need to know about stress though. Okay, so I just gave you the definition. I showed you how it affects every area of your life. So stress is meant to be dealt with and not ignored. Okay. So you can't say, oh, I'm stressed, and then you don't deal with it. Because I'm going to tell you the dangers of not dealing with stress. So stress is to be dealt with and not ignored. Be not deceived. You must acknowledge it for what it is. Don't be like, oh no, man, I'm cool. I'm not stressed. No, you are stressed. So don't be deceived. Acknowledge it for what it is and be ready to deal with it in order to be made free from it. So if you want to be made free from stress, you got to acknowledge it, and then you have to deal with it. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to just keep pressing it down, or I know I'm stressed, but I'm going to keep going day after day, week after week, because you'll run into trouble. I know before in my life, man, I would always say, like, I don't even have time to think. Then I end up getting in some big trouble, you know what I'm saying, in my life, because I never dealt with the stress I was dealing with in my life, okay? So if you simply ignore stress in your life, like act like it don't exist, or just keep going through your normal day, because let's say, like most of us, we are too busy to deal with it, the inevitable, so that means this will happen, the next stage will be distress, depression, or breakdown. You ever heard somebody say, man, I had a mental breakdown or something like that? That's because that's because the stress in their life went unchecked. The stress in their life went undealt with. It didn't, like, all of a sudden, boom, it just happened. No, that was probably months after months, day after day, year after year. Unless something crazy, tragic happened, it can hit you all at one time, boom, yes. But for the most part, for most human beings, it's not dealing with stress until you finally break. Because remember, with stress, it's tension. It's like I'm trying to bend something. So if I put enough stress on something, eventually it'll break. Even our bodies. That's why I'm not a big fan of working out 5, 6, 7 times a week. Because I'm like, look, man, you got a life. First of all, live your life. You're trying to be healthy, but you don't need 5, 6, 7, two a days, 3 a days in order for you to be healthy and reach optimal health. So I normally tell the person, man, look, work out maximally 4 times a week. 3 times, is okay too, but 4 times would be ideal. Other than that, deal with nutrition, deal with your relationships, deal with your environment, deal with other things outside. Because if you deal with those, then exercising will never become burdensome to you. But if all those other areas are out of order in your life, and then you're trying to put exercise on top of it, you'll end up abandoning one of those things. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be exercise. Okay. So that's why I say you don't got to kill yourself to be in the gym 5, 6, 7, 8, 3. No, be in there 3 to 4 days, get your thing in, get in and get out, take care of life, be healthy, do that stuff. So my last thing I left off at, I said, so it's inevitable. So we got to deal with stress, because if we don't, the inevitable next stage will be distress, depression, or breakdown. And what depression and stuff is, it's the feelings of hopelessness. People break down, or people are distressed, or people are depressed, and what happens is feelings of hopelessness, loss of interest or pleasure, and at least 4 other symptoms that reflect change in functioning, such as problem with sleeping, eating, energy, concentration, and self-image. Also, extreme anxiety, sorrow, or pain. It's anguish, suffering, and sorrow to the extreme. This is what depression, distress, and breakdown is. It creates problems with sleeping, eating, energy, concentration, and self-image. Also, it brings upon extreme anxiety, sorrow, or pain. It's anguish, suffering, and sorrow to the extreme. So this is why we got to deal with stress, because we don't want to get to that point. We don't want to get to the point where we break down, where we got this sorrow, where life becomes pointless and meaningless and hopeless. We don't want to get to that point, because some people don't recover out of it. And I'll give you some statistics here in a minute. This happens often because you and I let it get to the point. So we get to the point of distress and stuff like that because you and I, we get to the point where we don't have the means. When I say means, meaning we don't have the resources within us. Our resources get depleted and we don't know how to fix these issues. So that's when distress come upon. That's when depression, that's when you break down because you're like, man, I don't know how to deal with this. So then you just literally shut down. Then you become useless to your family, to your job, to society. If you're serving God, you become useless to him. Like you just become a useless individual because you let your stress go to the level of distress. So that's why I'm saying all this, because you got to deal with it. Don't ignore if you're stressed. Don't be like, oh, I'm not really stressed. Yes, you are. So deal with it. So I said this happens often because you and I let it get to the point where we don't have the means to get away from or out of what we are experiencing. This is where our survival techniques kick in. So I'm about to school you real quick on why we do some of the bad behaviors that we do. So think about some bad behaviors that you have now that you want to kick, or think about some bad behaviors that you did in the past. So the reason why we got to deal with stress, because if we don't deal with stress, then our survival techniques that was placed on the inside of us by God himself kicks on in our brain, and bad habits are birthed to get out of that state of distress. So all I'm saying is, if you don't deal with stress, your body will naturally uh, kick on this defense mechanism, and you will start to develop bad habits. Like you will start to develop bad habits like smoking, drinking, drugs. It could be sleeping around. It could be just laying in the bed. It could be lashing out in fits of anger and fighting. Could be overeating, binging, bulimia, food cravings and food addictions, etc. So a person says, oh, I'm so stressed out, I gotta eat this chocolate. The reason why they get like that, because guess what the chocolate does? The chocolate is a defense mechanism that they have developed over time so they won't get into that state of distress. Because when you put food in your mouth, it naturally has a physiological and psychological. That's why when you go to work out sometime, you're like, whew, I just relieved that stress off of me. So these things that we do is to relieve stress. So when we don't develop healthy habits to deal with stress in our life, or we don't just flat out deal with the stress head on, these defense mechanisms kick on, and we wonder why we're eating horrible food, or we're always drinking, or we're smoking, or we're binging, or we're overeating, or we're lacking integrity. We can't be consistent, because that's a defense. A lack of consistency and integrity is a defense mechanism. Because why? Working out and eating good is just another stress on my life now. So let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that for this time. Because if I don't get rid of that, I'm going to go into distress. Then I'm going to go into depression. Then I'm going to just break down. So I'm just trying to school us on what stress is and how it has to be dealt with. And you cannot let it be upon you for too long, because you'll go into deeper, worse cycles. So these are some facts that I had looked up. And this is just research I found. It says an estimated 17.3 million adults in the US had at least one major depressive episode. So what's a depressive episode? A depressive episode is a period of 2 weeks or longer in the aforementioned state. So the aforementioned state would be like the extreme sorrow, suffering, and pain. That's the feelings of hopelessness. So that's almost 1 in 15 American adults suffer from depression. So if you work at a job where it's 15 people, at least one of y'all either suffer from depression right now, or you have suffered from depression in your life. So think about that. Like, it's a lot of adults out here, 17.3 million. You know what I'm saying? So that's why stress has to be handled. If you don't handle stress, then because depression usually don't just come on automatically. Depression and distress is a result of us not dealing with the stress in our life, or it's a result of us not having the resources to be able to handle a problem that arises in our life. Like, let's say if all my lights get cut off, I'm about to get evicted in 2 days, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't got no money to pay it. I don't have the resources to be able to figure this one out. Me, I got faith, so I'm gonna pray. You know what I'm saying? God, you gotta make a way. But I'm saying, but like the average person, what they do is they go into something called depression about that stuff, because they look around and they feel hopeless. They see, I don't have the means to be able to handle this situation. So then this is where this next stat, and this is a very sobering stat right here that comes into play. So there is something called, I might say it wrong, but it's called suicidology. Like I've never heard it. I guess that's the study of suicide, I'm assuming. So it says according to the American Academy of Suicidology, about 2/3 of people who commit suicide, so that's 66% of people who commit suicide, are depressed at the time of their death. And the risk of suicide is about 20 times greater among people with major depression. So that's why we can't let stress in our lives get to that point of distress, depression, breakdown, because you are 20 times more greater to commit suicide than. 2/3 of the people who have committed suicide were depressed. So I'm just giving you the facts about stress. So if you got stress in your life, you literally got to deal with it. You can't run from it. You can't say, oh, one day it's going to go away. No, no, no. One day you're going to break down. That's what's going to happen. It ain't going to go nowhere. It's like it's going to jump on you hard one day, and you're going to wonder, man, why can't I get out the bed? Or why did I lose interest? Or why I don't feel like doing something no more? Why? Because you're depressed. And next level is going to be breakdown. Next level is going to be who knows what. So we got to deal with it. Now, I just told you some great sobering facts. So now we're going to fight. So now I'm about to give you some fight, because we got to fight this thing. Stress is something that we all deal with, and we have to learn how to fight. So remember, man, it's a great biblical principle that I learned. The Bible says, so we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. So it tells us that. So what I say when I say that, meaning that, and you can take this as a principle and apply it to every area of your life, whether you believe in God or not, start applying this to your life. When you are stressed, you say, oh, it's my boss, it's my job, it's my spouse. You don't wrestle against people. You are wrestling against stress itself. So don't get mad at the people and say, oh, I'm gonna choke this person, I'm gonna cuss this person out, I'm gonna harm this person. Don't get mad at the people. It's stress that's causing this, because stress is what? Mental or emotional strain and tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstance. Okay, you can't get, you can, but you shouldn't get rid of your spouse, okay, just because you're stressed out. So like, don't be like, oh, Sue told me to divorce. I didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? It's on recording, so you're lying, okay, if you say I said that. So, but stress is mental or emotional strain and tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. So that's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against the mental and the emotional strain and tension. We're fighting against these things, these adverse and demanding circumstances. That's what we're fighting against. So don't get mad at the people. Don't get mad at your job. Don't get mad at your boss. No, we're fighting against stress. Number one way to fight is awareness. That's always going to be number one. You can't, if you don't become aware of something, you can't even fight. Now I'm hoping I'm shedding some light on our situation. So now we're becoming aware. So number one is awareness. So when I say awareness, I mean, you must honestly and specifically identify, and I'm explaining the whole thing, what you're trying to accomplish and what the adverse or very demanding circumstances are that causes the tension and strain. Example being, I say, well, my wife stressed me out. Well, I got to get a little bit more specific about that, because she don't stress me out every day. It has to be something specifically that she may be doing that stress me out, or it has to be something specifically that I'm experiencing when I'm in her presence that's stressing me out. So we got to get specific, and you got to be honest. Whether you want to deal with it or not, you got to deal with it, but you got to be honest about it. So becoming awareness is you must honestly and specifically identify what you're trying to accomplish and what the adverse or very demanding circumstances are that causes this tension and strain. So there's two things. Number one, What am I trying to accomplish? And that might sound weird, but when you understand what it means for an adverse or demanding circumstances. So the word adverse is like adversity, right? So anything that's trying to come up that's adversity in life, anything that's coming upon and trying to bring adversity in your life is basically the definition is preventing success. So what are you trying to accomplish, or what are you trying to be successful at that you cannot accomplish, that you cannot be successful at, that's causing stress? Like, let's say example, man, I just want to have a good day at work. Okay, so we just define what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish peace at work. We're trying to accomplish a good day. Now you have to specifically break down, what do you mean by trying to have a good day? Because my good day could be like, look, my good day is that nobody talks to me. Somebody else's good day could be, look, I'm trying to be the best employee ever. Like, you have to specifically define what it is you're trying to be successful at. Then and only then can we figure out what the adverse or what the preventing circumstance is. Like, some people get stressed while they driving. They're like, man, I'm trying to get to work. You know what I'm saying? And there's traffic, people driving slow. You got old people and women driving. It's like, no, I'm messing around. I'm messing around. But yeah, so you say, man, I'm trying to get to the gym on time, or I'm trying to do this. So what's preventing me? What's the adverse situation that's stressing me out? Oh man, it's these people in my way. Now, if I break it down enough, the problem really ain't the people. Remember, I'm not wrestling against flesh and blood. I'm wrestling against time now, because I'm trying to get the work on time. So what I can do now is start to manage my time better. So if I manage my time better, guess what happened? The stress goes away. And I don't got to be mad at everybody driving in the street, because if I left 10 minutes early, then guess what? How these people are driving, or my thought of being late for a workout or being late for work, wouldn't even bother me no more. So I gotta, or maybe I know Sarah got a lot of kids. Maybe it's like, man, maybe I gotta get my kids up maybe 10 minutes earlier, and maybe, you know what I'm saying? So it can be something like that can alleviate the whole stress. Then guess what? You just eliminated that stress out of your life. So you have to, so number one, you got to become aware of what you're trying to accomplish, because any adverse or demanding situation just brings up challenges that test your abilities. So when your abilities are being tested, or your ability to be able to do something is being tested, then that's when stress. Then if you say, man, I don't got the resources to be able to handle this stressful situation, and if you don't find some healthy resources, then like, man, how am I going to deal with my relationship with my husband? And if you feel like I can't do nothing about it, then you start developing bad habits. It could be smoking, it could be drinking, it could be overeating, it could be whatever the case it is. To deal with that stress, you start to develop some bad habits. So that's why you got to deal with it. First, become aware with it and be honest about it. Number two, understand change. So number two is change. So change is needed. So what I'm saying is, number two is, to fight stress, you have to do things differently. You can't keep saying this thing stressing me out, but then you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's insanity. Well, I'm stressed because this, or I'm stressed because that. Okay, well, are you doing anything different? Well, no, everybody else got to change. I don't got to change. Yes, you do. You got to change. Something has to change. So when it comes to change, things have to be done differently now. The stress will not automatically go anywhere just because you want it to. The stress will not automatically go anywhere until some type of change is accomplished. So if I don't change up my eating, the stress of being overweight or the stress of being pre-diabetic won't go nowhere. So it's crazy. So like, you got people that be like, oh man, they be coming to me like, well, pray for my health, pray for my health. I'd be like, cool, I'll do that. But I'm like, at the same time, are you willing to do something different though? Okay, because I ain't gonna be no pixie dust that's going to be sprinkled on your head and something gonna happen. Or somebody be like, Sue, man, I want to get in shape, I want to work out, but then they never show up at the gym. I'm like, all right, well, we can't really do nothing with that. So a change has to, once you identify your goal and what's stopping you from them goals, now some type of change. Now this change can be mental, it can be physical, emotional, relational. You know, maybe you got to get out of some of those relationships. So if my best friend is Robert, and Robert wants to smoke and do drugs, and I want to be healthy, hey, maybe I got to cut that man off. You know what I'm saying? That's something hard I got to do. But if I value my health and my standards are high, hey, Rob, you know, I love you, bro, but I got to go this way. So something has to change. Your environment have to change. Your existential have to stay. Look, maybe you got to get a belief system. Maybe you don't believe in God. Maybe you don't got no beliefs out here. So maybe you develop some beliefs that can help you. That can help out you and your stress levels. I know it helps me. So it says, and change starts with identifying what needs to be changed and a strategy for change. No success without identification and strategy. So you have to start developing a strategy. You can't just say, okay, I want to change, but then you have no type of strategy. Okay, my new strategy is like, I want to change. I'm at least go to the gym 3 days a week. Okay. And I'm gonna just stick to and follow this nutrition plan that they gave me. Just those two things alone. That's a strategy. You just literally developed a strategy. Number three is, so number one is awareness. Number two, a change has to happen. A change is dealing with identification and strategy. Number three is evaluation. So now you got to count the cost or evaluate. Can I do without this stressful thing in my life? So let's say if, like my wife, perfect example, she's about to start discipling somebody starting Monday. And I got a choice to make. I can keep playing basketball on my Mondays, but then she got to take Danny with her. And now she has to try to find another day to do it. But I'm thinking in my mind, it ain't no other day. Tuesday, I got these calls. Wednesday, we got church. Thursday, I got church. Friday, we hanging out with each other. Saturday, we trying to hang out and chill. We ain't trying to do that stuff. And then Sunday, I got church. So what happens is I say, all right, I got to, so I won't create no stress in our life and stuff like that. I'll watch Danny on Monday. I'll forsake playing basketball for right now, and I'll just jog and run and stuff. So evaluation, can I do without this stressful thing in my life? It was about to be a big stressful situation. So I said, all right, let me kick out playing basketball. So that alleviated any stress from coming up. Now, good, it's cool. She can meet with her person. I got Danny. I can work on some stuff and we good. So if the answer is yes, then get rid of the adverse or demanding circumstance. I don't care how much you love it, because your health is on the line here. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember, stress affects every area of your health. So you say, well, I love to do this thing. All right, do you love that more than you love your health? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose? You know what I'm saying? So like, do you love that thing more than you love your health? If so, then keep that thing and watch your health just deteriorate, because that's truthfully what's going to happen. So then it's, however, if the answer is no, meaning if my wife is stressing me out, I can't just get rid of my wife. I shouldn't just get rid of my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is not in the cards right now. All right. I'm not saying, hey, man, I'm going to get rid of my wife. I'm like, no, that is not in the cards. I will not do that. So because of that situation, or if my job is stressing out, all right, don't go quit your job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't be smart. Or if my kids stressing me out, don't get rid of your kids. All right. Keep your kids. All right. Don't be like, oh, man, my kids stressing me out. Let me off two of them. Like, don't do that. Like, that is not smart to do. I tell you that right now. So if the answer is no, I can't get, remember, this is evaluation. If the answer is no, I can't get rid of this thing, then some type of change, going back to two, must happen, because living with stress is not good at all. And it hinders every compartment of your health. So don't think you're going to, so this could be the breakthrough for some of us. Some of us could be trying to be as healthy as we got to be. I'm trying to be healthy, but they keep getting hindered, not because they don't want to be healthy, but stress is kicking their butts. So they cannot be healthy, because stress, it will affect your emotional, your mental, your relationship. If I'm stressed out all day, you think me and my wife are going to be happy? Heck no. If I'm stressed out all day, you think I'm going to be a good employee? Heck no. I'm going through stuff. And number four, my favorite, is execution. So after you become aware and you start to make changes and you evaluate and you got this great strategy, now you have to actually execute or carry out consistently, not carry it out every once in a while, but you got to now carry out consistently what you said you want to accomplish and follow your plan of attack you have set up through your strategy that you have created. So execution is now carrying out what you plan to change and what you plan to do. So let's say, man, if I'm super stressed and I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna deal with this stress by, man, I'm gonna deal with stress by praying or reading or something like that. I gotta do that consistently, or the stress won't go nowhere. I have to be a good time manager consistently, or the stress won't go nowhere. I have to change how I think about my boss at work consistently. I gotta view, because I can't get rid of my, I can't get rid of my job and I can't get rid of my boss. So guess who gotta change? Me. I gotta change how I view it. So I don't know if you gotta study patience. I don't know what you gotta do with your mind, but a change has to happen. All right. So that's the facts about stress, and that's how you fight stress. So we're about to open up the floor. Any questions? Anybody want to bring up a scenario that we can try to put inside of our little formula that we have created, so that you can see if we can deal with it in right now? You know what I'm saying? Because don't hold on to stress. And if you don't feel comfortable dealing with it right now, man, you can give us a call later or tomorrow or whatever. But do not say, oh, this is just normal. No, it's not normal to be stressed out. All right. I don't know. We settle for being stressed out. I'm not saying stress is not going to be a normal part of our day in the sense of it won't be stressful situations, but you choose whether you live in stress or not. It's a choice. Don't say, well, I can't change. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can change your mind. You can change your physical environment. You can change something. You literally can change something. And you don't think you can change something, ask me. I bet any amount of money I can help you change whatever you need to change. All right, so I'm gonna open up the floor. This was a good one. I think it definitely helped me out this morning. So I know, man, it was amazing, awesome for me. So anybody got anything to share?
I'll share.
All right, go ahead, girl.
Um, and just as you were talking, there's just a consistent, um, something that's consistent in my life is the overbooking of a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Always wanting to take so many different things on, and I think I've talked about it a little bit before, but maybe not. But just as you were talking through that, just about the um, just being aware and what your goal is. That's something that I let a lot of those different goals roll around in my head, but I've not done well with writing them down specifically and outlining them and detailing them and having them solid and always being able to go back to them. And so I think even just in the past several days or this past week, I've been a little extra stressed just because I feel that creeping in of that time on our schedule, but knowing that I guess I'm coming to the realization, and this is something God has been working with me on for probably about 5 years
Mm-hmm.
or more, maybe. But anyways, just that that this is important right now. So this is going to take some sacrifices, some other things for us not to be stressed with like the extra couple things in our schedule a few days a week for me to be able to accomplish that goal of becoming healthier and becoming stronger. And so because it's new and it's not the norm, then it's just going to take a little extra. It's going to take extra time. It's going to take some extra sacrifice in some different areas. If that means that we have to not do a few things here and there, just so I can consistently come in and do my workouts and be there and do that well, but also get the other things accomplished that I need to throughout our day, like homeschooling or taking care of the animals, just different things that are in our life specific. So
Mm-hmm. Amen. Nah, that's good. So so you hit on it. I think one of the things, and I taught about in the time management one. The time management one was the overbooking or the overcommitting. That was one of the hindrances to being a good time manager. When that happens, it's saying no to a few things, which is hard to do because we want to get everything done. So let's say if our goal is to get a lot of things done in my day, then instead of me getting mad at, a person or situation or something like that, it's just, hold on, okay, let me map this out. Let me see, can I get 25 things? So I don't even have enough hours in a day to get 25 things done. So let me go through and see what things won't hurt my day, what can be put off to the next day, what is it in there. So I go into my schedule, because once, man, it's crazy. Once a person masters time management, literally probably 90% of the stress in our life goes away. Once we can manage our day, we say, man, wish we had more hours. Well, that's not going to happen. All right, we're never going to get that. So instead of wishing upon a star for more hours, no, let's put together a strategy. So that was one of my things this morning. I was laying in the bed. I was about to wake up. I said, hold on, man. No, no, no. I'm starting to feel overburdened. I'm starting to feel overwhelmed with things. I say, I don't want things that I love to do. Like, I love to pray for people. But I've noticed that I was putting so much stress and pressure on myself to pray for so many people in a single day. It became a burden. It became a burden to me. It became a thing like I'm not looking forward to, because I was overstressing myself. So I cut my big list down to, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do 10 people. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just pray for them. I'm gonna go through all my stuff. I'm gonna randomly just pick 10 people. I'm gonna get up at this time, make sure I get this much sleep. So now that I'm starting to literally book stuff, time stuff, do stuff like that, man, my today was, man, I had so much more time in my day. I was able to play with, like, literally hang out with Daniel and play with him more than I've ever been able to play with him, just off of the simple mindset of saying, hold on, this can wait till tomorrow. Because I was about to book a phone call with a guy at 2. I said, matter of fact, you know what? He can wait till tomorrow. So but now that I became aware of what the issue wasn't my son Daniel, me getting mad at him. The issue wasn't my job and me getting mad at the clients. The issue was my poor time management skills. But because I stopped and became aware, then I said, let me change some things. I evaluated, okay, what can I get rid of and what do I need to keep? Okay, I can get rid of this dude today, move him to tomorrow. And then now I just have to consistently, if I want to continue to have, like today was so ideal. If I want to continue to have days like this today, I know now I have to be on top of my time management. I can't, like you said, overbook. I can't overcommit, because my schedule can bring that extra stress until I get to the point where two things are going to happen. Number one, I'm going to fall into distress, depression, or breakdown. Or number two, like we learned in time management, I'll abandon my health goals. Those are the only two things that's going to happen. It's inevitable. And I've seen it so many times. People who think, oh man, my health is so important, so important, so important to me, and I want to do this stuff. And they never calculated their schedule. So they try to fit in health onto an already busy schedule and didn't say, all right, well, Monday, I can't, take care of the goats, sheep, and rams. And they might all be the same thing. I don't know my animals like that. You probably know the animals better than me. I probably said the same animals all the time, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so just knowing how to do that. So becoming a great time manager is an awesome way to eliminate a lot of our stress in our lives, So yeah, that was good. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? Corey, you got some stress in your life? I know you got some stress. You're probably stressing right now, cooking all that food and running around. She's so stressed, she can't even say nothing. What about you, Rhonda? Say something, Miss Rhonda.
I'm good. I I don't feel that at this point I have a lot of stress. I
Yeah.
feel that um my time,
Okay.
like I get busy. I'm really busy anymore. I used to not be so busy because I didn't have a job when I first got here and all, and then life just started happening, so I get busy. But I don't feel stressed about it.
Good. Now, how do you keep from feeling stressed? Because a lot of us typically, when we get busy like that, we tend to have stress in our life. So, how do you keep from having stress then, even though you're busier than you've been?
Well, I get up early,
Okay.
well before I have to be at work, and I go to bed early. So that usually cuts out a lot of my hours. That's why probably why I feel busy during the times that I'm up, because I I get up early so that I can spend time with God and start my day right. So I do my study and all that, and then I have a routine and I get to work, and work's pretty good. And then I when I it's getting it's actually just getting to the gym that
Mhm.
ends up being an issue, because then I'll have stuff after work like a Bible study or things I have to go accomplish that I can't get done during the day.
Okay.
So
Now, how many days a week? Now, so this is perfect. So we can talk about this. How many days a week do you would be ideal for you to come work out?
I would I only did one time last week, and I prefer at least 2 days. Um, Usually sometimes Fridays I'm at this point, Fridays and Saturdays, a lot of times I'm not even at my house
Okay.
most weekends.
Okay.
So and then sometimes I don't come back until late Sunday.
Okay.
So like I'm gone weekends anymore.
Okay. So you want to get at least 2 days of exercise in there. I think that's the main goal, right? To get 2 days of exercise in there.
At least, yeah. Yeah, because I think one's too little. 3 would be a lot better, but I wouldn't be able to fit it. So 2 would be kind of be ideal.
Okay. So you at least trying to get to the gym one. So if you're trying to get, because I think in your mind you're saying 2 days at the gym be cool, but I would love to get at least ideally three. I think ideally three would be like picture perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I by three may bring what stress to your life, right?
Right, because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is pretty much always out.
Hmm.
And then and sometimes it just depends on work. I think it I think I could make it, but if I made it 3 times, and then I would have to put some other important things I have to do after work off,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Monday nights Bible study, and so actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's out. I leaves Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then if I don't take one day, one evening for myself to do what I need to get done, you know,
Okay.
after work.
So then
So,
that gets you down
yeah,
to about 2 days, right?
right.
Okay, cool. So you got 1 or 2 days you can come to the gym, but you still got 3 days you can work out. So I'm gonna try to make this easy for you. So you choose between one of those 2 days to come to the gym. Okay, that's gonna be your free will choice. No one's stressing you or pressuring you, right?
Mhm.
So you can at least make it that one day. And then to still get some type of physical activity because you're trying to still build strength and you want to just stick with the great work and exercise that you have already started. So in your Alloy app, I put at least 5 different workouts in there that you can do at home. I put 3 10-minute core workouts in there and 2 20-minute full body workouts. So you don't have to drive to the gym. You don't have to leave your home. You can do that at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that one. Okay.
So what can
That would
happen is,
definitely work.
yeah, so you can be like, all right, so let's say Monday and Thursday, I'm gonna get in either a 10-minute core workout, and it's all body weight. You don't need no weights. And I got and I'm and the videos are got modifications and stuff in there. So it can be like a Monday, I'll get that in. A Thursday, I might get another at-home one in there. And then my Wednesday, I can come to like my later foundation class because we got a foundation one at like 6:15. So you can get in your foundation workout, and then you can get in your 2, or if you need another time, we can just find another time for you. We got small groups and different things like that. But you know, you can get, so you can still accomplish your 3 days of exercising, but you may only get 1 day into the gym, and I bet that won't stress you out.
Right, right. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but that was great because I'm sure it's a lot of people like that when things come up, and that's why we gave you all the Alloy apps, and I'll show you the next day, or I have one of the trainers show you how to get into it and how to start. It's just myself and Rachel, or myself and other people, and I'm at the gym and I'm doing them. One of the workouts like 40 seconds of work, 20-second break. That's 2 of them, and the other 3 are just straight 10-minute core workouts. I walk through it, show you how to do them, and then you're doing them with me while I'm doing it. So I'm basically in your living room kicking your butt. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, my girl. My man Steve, what's up? Are you on it, Steve? With your audio?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm here. I'm good, I think.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because you've been in there.
Rough,
Listen,
rough week. Been a rough week.
I bet. I bet
Trying
because
to
you're trying to get back to
figure
work.
out. Yeah. Figure all that out, and
Yeah, so
just a lot.
how about
I
that?
guess causing myself my own stress, but
And I know you said you wanted to talk to me. So what happened is I got a 7 o'clock call. So after my 7 o'clock call, I can call you real quick and we can probably hash that out. So
no, we can have at it tomorrow while we're down there or something. That's all right.
okay, yeah,
It's
because
just yeah, it's all right.
like you say, I don't want
It's
to take
good.
away from the
Well,
from
it's a couple minute thing, so it's not a big deal.
okay, cool.
So,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're good.
All right, all right.
Just been a rough couple of days so far. So
Yeah, for sure. Remember, man, I'm your coach, your brother. You can always reach out to me, call me, text me, be like, hey man, can you talk or something like that? And you know, I'll probably say, heck no. It's like, nah, I'll make time for you.
I kind of wanted to chit chat, but I picked up this nice blue book I got here. So
There we go. There we go. My man picking up that word of God, boy. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, family. You all was amazing. Thank you all for coming on. Man, I'm about to get to the 7 o'clock group. But yeah, so if you got any questions, any concerns, anything like that, and if you want to just let's map out some of our stresses, y'all, and let's try to use those 4-step process of awareness, change, evaluation, and execution. Man, I look, I think the good Lord gave me that because I think every one of our stressful situations can fit into that, and we can use that as a blueprint to figure out how we can get rid of some of the stress in our lives, y'all. But yeah, that was amazing. So call or text me anytime if you're struggling with that. And yeah, I'll take it from there, y'all. All right. Bye-bye. See y'all later. Thank you all.
bye.